This is just beautiful. So now, Jen Psaki, now you remember Jen Psaki, she was the former White House press secretary. The woman could not say anything true if her life depended on it. Well, she's even now, what happens to her? She leaves the White House, and then what do? You get a job. She's an NBC News analyst. And she has a show, I think, coming out on MSNBC. But think about how fraudulent they do it right in front of our faces. You are a paid public relations liar for an administration. That's what your job is to do. And then you get a job analyzing the news, and we're supposed to take any of this seriously? You clowns, you ridiculous, abject clowns. Well, here she is completely contradicting Karine Jean-Pierre.
They also know that crime is a huge vulnerability for Democrats. I would say one of the biggest vulnerabilities.
Jen Psaki says that crime is a huge vulnerability for Democrats. Why would she say that?
So, again, I can't do electoral politics from here, as you know, but I don't agree with your characterization of what she actually said.
She literally said it's a huge liability for Democrats. Now, what's funny is when Jen Psaki was standing behind that podium only months ago, she would have never acknowledged that crime is a problem for Democrats, right? She would try to confuse you. We played many videos where they tried to make it sound like Republicans were defunding the police, and actually Democrat-run cities aren't, drowning in crime. Can we get the number, Daphne? Can we get the, how many people were shot in Chicago this past weekend? Can I get a death and shooting number, please? This is what's happening across Democrat cities. We all know it. The average person knows it. We spent about 48 hours in New York City, and it's a dump. It is a dump. I loved New York City growing up. My great-grandparents lived there. My grandma lived there. I lived in New York City from 2000 to 2013. I was there during 9/11. I absolutely loved New York City. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. I gave Connor the full Seinfeld tour of the Upper West Side, showing off all the restaurants and everything. Like, I love New York City, or love New York City. It's a dump now. It smells like weed everywhere. You don't see business people. That's what was shocking. We were in Midtown. We wandered around. Like, you don't see people wearing suits like doing business anymore. You just see a lot of people in hoodies, and everyone smells like weed. And I'm not even against weed at some level, or certainly at a personal level, but everything smells like weed. It's dirty. You can sense like there's that if you just got punched in the face on the street, that nobody would care, that it just wouldn't matter and all that stuff. 38 people were shot in Chicago this past weekend, 7 dead. We're not going to hear any of their names because you can guess the color of the skin of the shooters and the color of the skin of the victims. Doesn't fit the equation, so we can't talk about that. But the point is that Psaki, she goes from being a liar at the White House, then she just makes more money to be a liar and a, quote, analyst. So if you've got a friend that watches NBC News or MSNBC for news, you got to say to them, you got to grab them. You got to grab them by the head, and you got to smack them, and you got to smack them again and go, what are you doing? You're getting your news from someone who has told you what they are. They are an activist. She is a Democrat, right? That's okay. You could be there's Republican versions of all of this too, right? The swamp is what the swamp is. I'm just talking about the girl that's doing it now. The idea that she could analyze news for you, the same person who's been lying about the news, like she was the chief liar for the last year, and now she's a news analyst. Just absolutely incredible.